It's time to grind. We cross the line. You know the time. It's time to shine. Check it. You must be out your mind. Even your third eye is blind sometime. You seen the sign. Still cross the line. This life will throw curves and sliders. In times of trouble, we struggle, but the beast inside you must come out, or it's famine. System set up to damage you. Unless you work around the scandalous and mismanagement, I ran with it. I became more than I was supposed to, but wouldn't listen to the voices of oppressors who try to keep a brother down. Nah, I ain't having that. I'm after that cabbage black. I fell more than I succeeded at. Life lessons had a brother stressing. Nearly died at my adolescence, but I kept stepping and I kept repping black unity. Never forgot where I came from. I'm on some generational wealth. It takes one to change one. So I'm here to give you game if you game, son. Cause it's game on. It's the same song. If you ain't grinding, you won't last long. You know the story, man. I can't find a job, it's because the man. I never let another man hold me. My pops told me, son, be the best at anything you do, protect that. Your family first, your project, I keep you out the projects. My pop's logic, but I hear him though. Now my kids got the blueprint to prove it. Maneuvering around the bullshit. That could be you too, we do this. Just believe in yourself, till wealth comes, no Gucci belt. Let's invest in self, let's digest hate, turn it to power. No protesting, that was last year. We ain't asking, fuck your stimulus, fuck your vaccine. I'm a black king, not only for blacks though. This is for those that feel left behind, can't find steps to climb. Let me testify, we got fish to fry, we don't wish to die, man. Turn the anger to love, stop begging these fools, just take it and run. On, son, we had a dream, then we woke up. We focused, take notice, we own it, till we own it. Yeah, that's right. Stand up, let's ride. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing on this fine Monday night? My name's Love. A man escapes from prison where he has been locked up for 15 years. He breaks into a house to look for money and guns, and he finds a young couple in bed. He orders the guy out of bed and ties him up to a chair. While tying the girl to the bed, he gets on top of her and he kisses her neck. Then he gets up and he goes to the bathroom. While he's in there, the husband tells his wife, honey, listen, this guy's an escaped convict. Look at his clothes. He probably spent a lot of time in jail and hasn't seen a woman in years. I saw how he kissed you on your neck. If he wants sex, don't resist if he wants sex. Don't complain. Do whatever he tells you. Satisfy him no matter how much he nauseates you. This guy's probably very dangerous, and if he gets angry, he'll kill us. Be strong, honey, I love you. Then his wife responds, he wasn't kissing my neck, he was whispering in my ear. He told me he was gay, thought you was cute, and asked me where the Vaseline was. I told him it was in the bathroom. But don't worry, be strong, honey. I love you too. Oh, boy. Shit, that's funny. How the hell you guys doing tonight, man? I missed y'all. Did you miss me? I missed y'all. Well, in honor of Black History Month, I think it's just so important to shed light, man, on some of the firsts. You know, that us as a people that we brought to the world. We don't always get the credit that we deserve for inventions and being first at doing stuff. So I wanted to use this platform to give our people some flowers and share some victory with you guys. So they don't teach us stuff in school. So y'all ready? All right, here we go. Keith Snack Stevens, first black man in history to put neck bone meat in a salad. Oh, shit. All right. Whatever. Anjanette Jenkins, 1943, was the first woman to claim she ain't the one. All right. O.J. Simpson, there he is. First black man to get away with killing a white woman, but he goes to jail for stealing his own shit. Look at him. Dumbass. How you go to prison for stealing your own shit? Well, I tell you. Dwayne Freeman was the first person to yell, "Oh, that's my jam," when the song came on at the club. All right, last but not least, check him out, he's doing the limbo. Last but not least, Tabitha T. Baby Malone, 1896 to 1978, was the first black child to get dropped off at her grandmama's house so her mama could turn up at the club. Poor baby. Poor baby. I have waited all week to tell you to wake your ass up. What's up, man? It's your boy Love, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Now, on a serious note, for Black History, today in Black History, Nat King Cole, a singer and pianist, died in Santa Monica, California. Now, Nat King Cole was smooth, boy. He had the ladies. My grandmother had his album. He had a daughter, Natalie Cole, and she was dope, too. She was dope, too. Nat King Cole, February 15, 1965. All right, February 15, 1968. 1968, on this day, Henry Lewis became the first African American to lead a symphony orchestra in the United States. Henry Lewis. This is shit you should know. February 15th, 1848, Sarah Roberts barred from white school in Boston. This is 1848. Sarah Roberts barred from white school in Boston. Her father, Benjamin Roberts, filed the first school integration suit on her behalf. That was February 15th, 1848. Sarah Roberts. That's a long fucking time ago. Come a long way. Just on to today in history, creators of The Simpsons, Matt Groening, born February 15th, 1954. You guys know this show, Simpsons. Shit been on forever since I was little. American Emmy-winning cartoonist, creator of Simpsons and Futurama. The Simpsons is the longest-running United States primetime television series in history, as well as being the longest-running animated series and sitcom. Give it up for The Simpsons. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And today in history was brought to you by Nuestra Lingerie. Check this out. Just a little short clip. Yo, listen, man, Nuestra, man, we doing it. We doing it big. It's coming, y'all. It's coming soon. Just to let y'all know, we just placed a big order. We got some designs that are being finished right now. And, we're looking probably April sometime to have the website up and ready to go, man. And we did, sold a few pieces for Valentine's Day, so that was dope. Nuestra, make sure you check us out. Now, well, tonight's show is special. It's special to me. Well, they're all special to me, but I like to give you my perspective in how I process information and use it to my everyday life. Now, I'm sure this is not the only view. Of course not. But it's my fucking view, and it's my show, so fuck you. I'm going to tell you how I feel about shit because I think it's important. Everybody has their own opinion about things, and I have mine. I'm a mixed kid. I was raised in the 70s and 80s. I come from an interracial household, so I have seen racism on both sides. I was raised in racist states, and I was also raised in states where race never affected me. I never used racism as a crutch, even though I know it's a real thing. My whole life, I thought different than a lot of my peers in regards to jobs, career choices, and perspective when it comes to racism. And as I got older, I figured the way around racism is ownership. I figured if I owned everything about myself, then I can dictate how my life would go. I always felt I had to work harder than the people around me because that's how I would stand out regardless of my race. Now, I'm sure I was passed up on things and people looked at me crazy. It's a common thing. It's a common thing now to see half-breeds, and that's what they used to call us.
Today it's more common. And I'm happy to say that one day everybody's going to be yellow just like me, so you better get used to it. Back in my day, it wasn't a whole lot of yellow folks, but today there is. And, you know, I just think that my perspective on this whole racism, and we're going to get into systematic, because that's the name title of the show, is Systematic Racism. And we're going to get into some real topics, but I'm also going to give you my perspective on that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And again, people that know me know this is something that's dear to my heart, but I have a little bit of a different view. And I hope that you guys can get what I'm talking about and use it as positive motivation. Tonight, we're going to be talking about systematic racism, what it means, and how that ties into my blueprint. You guys always hear me talking about that. My album, Free Game, is going to be coming out in April as well. And that whole album is talking about the blueprint, okay? I will add, racism is not just about being black. These same tactics have been used against us and other folks for centuries, for thousands of years. Matter of fact, slavery itself. There is a playbook for slavery. And when the landowners over here, before the slaves, when the landowners over here had issues with labor, they needed people to pick the cotton because these motherfuckers wasn't picking it. There was a playbook, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it came from someone from France, but the playbook was given on how to bring slaves in, how to control them, how to demoralize them, how to break up the family unit, not allow, don't let them read, don't let them, get educated, force them into religion, take away their name, take away their identity. And once you can control them that way, then you'll have an easier time with your slaves because they were having trouble with the slaves. And, this shit is some real things, man, and it's near and dear to my heart. And I just want to explain a couple of things to you. And this is just some research that I did, so I'll just read it from the internet. Institutional racism, also known as systematic racism, is a form of racism that is embedded as normal practice within society or an organization. It can lead to such issues as discrimination in criminal justice, employment, housing, healthcare, political power, and education, among other issues. Now, when you see all these folks out here protesting, this is the shit that they're trying to fix. There's certain situations, what happened with George Floyd and where enough is enough, the straw that broke the camel's back. But these are the kind of things that we're trying to fix is systematic racism. You have rules and an overall temperament in place that will throw obstacles your way. Obstacles give you a disadvantage. But let me tell you something. My father, my grandfather, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of these people, they broke down walls to where now opportunity is there for us. I'm going to go over all this shit. This stuff that we already know. But at the end of the day, these things are just obstacles. They're fucking serious obstacles, but they are obstacles. Here's the first one. First of all, institutional racism was defined by Sir William Macpherson in the UK's Lawrence Report in 1999. The collective failure of an organization to provide an appropriate and professional service to people because of their color, culture, or ethnic origin. It can be seen or detected in processes, attitude, or behavior that amount to discrimination through prejudice, ignorance, thoughtlessness, and racist stereotype, which disadvantage minorities, ethnic people. Housing and lending. This is how they did it with housing. Institutional racism in the housing sector can be seen as early as 1930 with the Homeowners Loan Corporation. Banks would determine a neighborhood's risk for loan default and redline neighborhoods that were at high risk of default. These neighborhoods tended to be African American neighborhoods, whereas whites were able to receive housing loans. Over several decades, as whites left the city to move to nicer houses in the suburbs, predominantly African American neighborhoods were left to degrade. Retail stores also started moving out to the suburbs closer to the customers. From the 1930s all the way to 1960s, following the Depression, Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal, FHA, enabled the growth of the whites by providing loan guarantees to banks, which in turn financed white home ownership and enabled white flight, and it did not make loans available to black folks. Real shit. Now, my partner's white, and we have all kind of conversations. We have conversations about racism. We have conversations about politics. We don't agree on everything. And I try to educate him on some things, and I ask him a lot of questions. He educates me on some things. And, and some of the issues that I had, I can understand a perspective for someone that's not a racist, but it's white. I can understand why they would be somewhat insensitive to certain situations. Excuse me. Because they've never been faced with racism. So it's not common knowledge to them. They have a common knowledge to know it exists, but they've never actually seen it. He doesn't look at that as an obstacle. He looks at that as just another opportunity. It's going to make it harder for you, but as an opportunity. Now, someone that's not a deep thinker, someone that doesn't kind of agree to a degree, would think that that's a racist mentality. But it's not. He's not a racist. Let me tell you something. Everything that I'm talking about, and we're going to talk about more, the housing, institutional racism, systematic racism. Yes, these things are true. I try to, when I'm planning to buy a house, one of the questions on the fucking questionnaire was, what color am I? I told the dude, what fucking difference does that make? You tell me. He couldn't. But we all know why. Now, here's the thing with me. Even though this shit is in our way still, this ain't like it was 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. This is still the land of opportunity and still a place where you can get money, you can become a billionaire, you can become a millionaire. I'm not saying forget the past. I'm not saying ever forget. But what I am saying is if we dwell on certain things, we're not looking at the present, we're not looking at the future. The blueprint will teach you this. This is the blueprint that I'm trying to get you guys to digest. There's a playbook that's been put in play thousands of years ago. We never got a chance to follow that playbook. And it's about ownership. It's about ownership. Owning your person, owning your property, owning your intellectual property, ownership of yourself. The reason why I always try to preach opening up your own business is you want to get rid of systematic racism as it relates to jobs. You get missed on that job promotion because of the white dude and all of this shit. Then fuck the job. Start your own company. Start your own company. Nobody's going to stop you from doing that. Ownership. Generational wealth. Setting your children up for the future. How are you going to do that? You're not going to do that dwelling on what the fuck happened in the 1930s. You're going to do that by teaching your kids how to do credit, teaching your kids about how to balance a fucking checkbook, teaching your kids about ownership, teaching them at a young age how to start their own business, teaching them that shit, setting them up for generational wealth. That's how you break down the wall. See, our forefathers have already done the dirty work, and we got a long way to go to make shit an even playing field. But it's still a fucking playing field. It's your job right now to stop dwelling on bullshit and fix what you got to fix within yourself. Yes, did I have to work harder than every other white person as when I was a GM in restaurants? Yes, I did. And I did that shit. And you know why I got the job? Because they had to hire me. They had to give that to me. I was the best one doing it. That's how you get over it. See, the finish line is still at the same place. Yeah, white folks might not have a bunch of hurdles and shit in the way. And we might have motherfucking valleys and hurdles and shit in the way. But to stop and not take that challenge and still get to that finish line means you're making excuses because the obstacle is in the way. And that's the kind of shit that I want to preach to you guys. But here's another one. In health and environment, institutional racism impacts healthcare accessibility within non-white minority communities by creating health disparities among racial groups. For example, from 1865 to 1906, many black veterans were unfairly denied disability pension by the Union Army disability pension system. True shit. Now, my father was in the Army during, and he's not on here tonight, I hope he's feeling well. Now, my father was in the Army, and he got sick, had a heart operation, over 20 years ago. The VA has been the best fucking thing in the world for him. If it wasn't for the VA, he probably wouldn't be here anymore. Times are changing. Times might not be changing as fast as we want them to be, and we still are dealing with a lot of assholes. But if you really look at it, most of those assholes are broke, poor, hillbilly motherfuckers anyway that don't mean shit, and they're not really in your way. They're not. They're not. They don't even know why they're racist, to be honest with you. The movie, Black Messiah, Judas and the Black Messiah just came out. And there was a lot of takeaways from that movie, but one main takeaway that I took from that movie was when the leader of the Black Panthers, he walked into this hillbilly. They were having a meeting and shit, and they had the Confederate flag and shit in the background, and him and his Black Panther party walked in there. And you would think they're about to throw down and throw blows. But basically what the man told him, he said, listen, you guys ain't doing no better than we are. You getting fucked over too. Your schools are shitty. Your kids are hungry. You don't have no jobs. This isn't black and white. This is rich and poor. I thought that was a very cool point in the movie to see the Black Panthers hook up with them, and they also hooked up with the Latinos. See, the fight is a lot bigger than just race. But if you understand the blueprint and you start digging your kids and getting your generation out of the mud and start getting that company started and start buying shit, and there's nobody can stop you from that. Nobody. Now, criminal conviction. Let's talk about that. Now, this is a big one. Although approximately 2/3 of crack cocaine users are white or Hispanic, reported past years. This poll was taken a little while ago during the crack era. Used in 2013 of 0.8% and 0.3% and 0.1% for black, white, and Hispanics respectively. A large percentage of the people convicted of possession of crack cocaine in federal courts in 1994 were black people. In 1994, 86.3% of the defendants convicted of crack cocaine possession were black people, while 10.3% were whites and 5.2% were Hispanic people. Possession of powder cocaine was more racially mixed, with 52% of the offenders being white, 29.7% of black people, and 17% were Hispanic within the federal judicial system. A person convicted of possession with intent to distribute power carries a 5-year sentence for quantities of 500 grams or more, while a person convicted of possession of intent to distribute crack cocaine faces a 5-year sentence. I'm going to stop reading. Here's a fix. We know it's lopsided. We know that there's more black people in penitentiary and more Latinos in penitentiary. Listen, I love my people, but you got to listen. Stop fucking selling crack. Stop. I'm 51 years old, man, and I can't remember the last time I got in trouble for anything. See, I have to be very careful how I choose my words, because the backlash of people saying, "Are you not for us?" Fuck yeah, I'm for you. That's why I'm trying to tell you this shit. Pull your fucking pants up. Start acting like you got some fucking sense, and let's get money. That's what I'm preaching to you. That cool shit's not gonna get your head on any playing field. I'm not telling you to act white. There's no such thing as acting white or acting black. There's no such thing. But you will never get taken serious in the world if you're out doing foul shit. That's why you're not getting ahead. You gotta be smart. And I know a lot of our homes don't have people in there telling you guys shit like this, but I am. That's why it's important to share this podcast to people, because listen, your kids got to understand. You got to understand. Fuck an obstacle. You stopping yourself. Start a company. Be the first one in your generation to do something about it. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, those guys died. They died. And a lot more names. I don't even know all the names. These folks died. The people that sat at Woolworths on the counter because they wouldn't feed them and shit, those folks got arrested and got beat up and got all of this shit for us to have a fucking opportunity to get ahead, and we can't pull our fucking pants up. It's disrespectful. Yes, all of this shit is real. Criminal or juvenile court. I was going to read it. I'm not even going to fucking read it. Listen. I'm not an educated man. I'm not the smartest one in the room. But I will tell you this. Racism is alive and well. It may be worse than it's ever been. Who knows? But if you understand that, then you should understand this. We still live in a country where if you really want to be successful, you can. We know the obstacles that's in the way, but there is still a path to the finish line. And remember, this adversity will make you strong, or it should. I can't change the way a man looks at me, but I also can control how much of a fuck I care about that stare. I'm going to get it regardless. And so are you if you change your mindset. We're not going to feel sorry for ourselves no more. Fuck reparation. Who cares about that shit? Most of us wouldn't know what to do with that much money any fucking way. Who cares? Start training yourself. Start educating yourself. Start doing research. Start building your future. Go inside and look at your babies that's in the bedroom right now reading books and shit. And go in there and say, what are you going to do to make sure that they are successful? Or are we going to sit and dwell on what happened in the past? Or are we going to go and do something fucking about it? I'm not saying ignore racism. Hell, I'm not even telling you to let it go. I'm not telling you that. What I am telling you is there is plenty of opportunity. And if you get out there and do some shit about it, you're gonna be okay, regardless. Those hillbillies will eventually die off, trust me. Trust me. 2 or 3 generations, your great-grandchildren, if you do the right thing right now, follow the blueprint, they're gonna be rich. Nothing more dangerous than a rich black man or a rich Hispanic. See, it's about rich and poor. It's about rich and poor. I got plenty of white friends. I got plenty of Spanish friends. I got plenty of black friends. I've even had relationships with motherfuckers that I knew were racist, but they were too afraid and punk to say anything to me. But guess what? Understanding that that's their disability, instead of just shunning them off, I taught them. I used my example to let them know the way that you was taught was fucking foolish. You don't have to be afraid of me. You don't have to be. Okay? But all of this, I'm looking for equal rights. Fuck equal rights. Let me explain that. As a grown man, how can we let another grown man tell you that you're equal? That's not a man's job. We got to stop looking for the password to get into the old boys club. Fuck the old boys club. Make your own club. Black excellence. You know? Because see, really at the end of the day, it's not just about the race thing either. You don't hold a white man accountable for some shit his fucking great-great-great-grandfather did. That's foolish. That's stupid. Especially if this man don't got no problem with you. We got to change and we got to get better, but it starts with us. Don't worry about everything else that's going on. It starts with us. I do not feel I need to ask for equal rights. Like I told you, only God and my effort will dictate that for me. If a company doesn't want to hire me because of my skin color, then I will open up my own business. We can wait for reparations, or we can chalk that shit up as a loss and create new opportunities for our babies and their babies. Drive, ambition, positive attitude, no complaining, understanding that the devil is real does not mean we have to sit and dwell on that shit. A man can think how they want about you, but you give them the power, you giving them the power is worse than the hate itself. Fuck them. You will outwork, you're not gonna outwork me because I am a king, period. Now I love all my people. I love y'all. But there's people across the board that I don't fuck with. But it's not because of their color, it's about and it's not about what their ancestors did to me. It's about their interactions with me. With that said, a person will become who they become based on the past. I don't believe that. I think a person can change today for the better. They just need to be taught. They just need to be taught. So anyway, people think I'm crazy when I tell that. And I hope that you guys digested that information correctly, because at the end of the day, it's really how I feel. And it's brought me some success, you know what I'm saying, in life. And I haven't sold out shit. I haven't given up shit. I'm well respected. And for the people that don't respect me, they're not going to tell me that. You understand? Because I walk through this world with my head up high, my shoulders back, and my chest out. And that's how us as a people, us as poor people, us as oppressed people, no matter what your color is, you got to change that mentality right now, because that slave mentality is what we've been taught. And those chains have been broken a long time ago, brothers and sisters. Trust me when I tell you. I got a video that I want to share. It's a short clip. It's with Morgan Freeman. So let's check that out.
The whole thing, especially the president and Democrats now are talking about income inequality, and that's basically what, you know, when you talk about the richest 85 people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's income inequality. Do you think that's, looking at, you know, what's happening in the news now, is that a good idea?
It's a great idea. It is the greatest idea. We have a much more vibrant society when we don't have such a vast chasm between the haves and the have-nots. We need that middle ground that we call the middle class, the people who buy everything, people who use the products that the rich are creating, if they're creating anything other than wealth, right?
Right.
So it's what's happening with the Chinese economy right now. They're changing their whole outlook because they need consumers.
Yeah.
And without a middle class, you're not going to have consumers. You're not going to have it at the level that we normally would have it.
So can I go back to, because I thought what you said was fascinating, because you called it bull when you said people can't, you know, pull themselves up. Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't
Today?
or cannot? Yeah.
No,
You don't?
no, I don't. I don't. You and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that. It's kind of like religion to me. It's a good excuse for not getting there.
Yeah. You know, I said, and it's probably get me in trouble, but I said to some of my colleagues recently, so I know that it's an issue, but it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news, but sometimes I get so tired of talking about it, I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is the problem we have.
So I understand you recently had a birthday. You're 27?
No. Got that on 37.
37.
Yeah.
We have a
Gee
little
whiz.
surprise for you. Can we get it? There you go.
Oh, no. That's more like it.
That you. Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you for joining us here.
We will make more of a difference if you put 100 oppressed people in a room that sit down and protest wanting change than those 100 people in that same room standing up and creating their own opportunity. That's what's dangerous, and that's what's beautiful. And that's the message that I'm trying to get across today, all right? So With that being said, I know that some people won't agree with my thoughts, and that's okay. I just believe that regardless of what happened to our people in the past, we can control our future, and it doesn't matter who doesn't want it. It doesn't fucking matter. We live in a country where the ignorance of even many still can't hold you back if you really want it. This week, I want you guys to spread some positive energy on the population because we need it. We want you to stay positive. We want you to stay driven. We want you to be hungry. We want you to go ahead and get them kids and start teaching those kids how to be survivors, because it's war, but the war is within yourself. What are you willing to do about it? Okay? Much negative people to the negative section. Why? Fuck them. We don't need them. And next week, I can't wait to give you guys another show. But until then, you guys be blessed, man. I love you. Peace.
Y'all know that time, it's time to rise, it's time to grind. We cross the line, you know the time, it's time to shine. Check it, you must be out your mind. Even your third eye is blind sometime. You seen the sign, still cross the line. This life will throw curves and sliders. In times of trouble, we struggle, but the beast inside you must come out or it's famine. System set up to damage you. Unless you work around the scandalous and mismanagement, I ran with it. I became more than I was supposed to, but wouldn't listen to the voices of oppressors who try to keep a brother down. Nah, I ain't having that. I'm after that cabbage black. I felt more than I succeeded at. Life lessons had a brother stressing. Nearly died at my adolescence, but I kept stepping and I kept repping black unity. Never forgot where I came from. I'm on some generation.